Hi folks, I am in Denali National Park today in Alaska. It's a beautiful sunny fall day and I'm going to be hiking up this ridge right here to go look for some Dall sheep, hopefully some big Dall sheep rams. I've been up in Alaska for about 6 weeks this summer. I was on 2 trips rafting the Colville River, filming falcons up in Arctic Alaska. And I've got 1 day here that I've popped down from Fairbanks with my buddy Tom, and we are gonna go hike up this ridge here. It's called Primrose Ridge. It's on the park road. I don't think I'm giving away any secrets in that this has historically always been a great place for Dall sheep. And I've been up there a couple times over the years, including my first time was about 30 years ago up there. It's a beautiful fall day. We're at or near peak fall color. The tundra is just spectacular. The dwarf birch in particular is just vibrant red everywhere you look. Yeah, so I got about a 3-mile hike up to the top of Primrose here. We'll hike up the park road a ways and then cut up there and see what we can find. So I hope you'll enjoy this. It'll just be a brief little visit to Denali, but an absolutely spectacular place to spend a fall day. Let's go. 2 miles up the road, kind of cresting the hill, and just got our first glimpse of Denali. It's quite clear. A lot of people come to Denali National Park and never see the mountain because it's weathered in most of the time, but it's quite beautiful over on the horizon behind me over there. So we're getting up above the spruce here that's down in these valleys that you kind of drive through on the entrance road. And we're gonna get a side trail here and start heading up the mountain and get up into the more alpine vegetation where the sheep like to be. Luckily there's a kind of half man, half bear trail through this stuff. So while I've got a moment with some amount of shade, we made it up the road. It's stunningly beautiful all over the place. I was tempted to take a lot of shots, but the light's quite flat and bright right now. But for now, just trying to push on to get up the hill so we can spend the afternoon up top. Whoa, that's so beautiful. Look at that tundra. Well, we just made it up through the alder belt coming up this towards Primrose Ridge, and just came out and immediately into this incredible area of fall tundra foliage. It's just so beautiful. Mostly dwarf birch, but lots of other stuff. Bearberry. Yeah, just incredible. We took a break. It's a little longer hike up here than I last remembered. We still got a ways to go up the side of the hill here till we get to the ridge and maybe find some sheep. But we're having our lunch and just a stunningly beautiful view. We've got Denali over here, completely clear, and just the fall foliage on the ground cover especially is just incredible. We got some migrating birds going over, some golden eagles, merlin, sharp-shinned hawk. A little more lunch and we'll keep on moving. Hey bear! No bears! No bears! Well, we've almost made it up. We're on the kind of the bench now up on Primrose Ridge. It's more grasses and sedges and plants that you would find up on a spot like this that the Dall sheep like. So we started seeing some droppings right here as soon as we got into this kind of habitat. Nothing on the horizon up here, but we're going to go over the next slope and we'll have a better vantage point of hopefully a bigger area where maybe we'll see our first Dall sheep. So I was saying I first came up here when I was 25 years old, 30 years ago, shooting film. It was my first trip to Alaska, I believe, and still have some images I really like from that day. But ISO 50, Fuji Velvia, they're in a file cabinet. But it was spectacular that time, and it's spectacular today. Well, we're up top, and we've actually covered some ground already up here because we didn't see any sheep immediately kind of cresting the first ridge on the ridge. Really windy up here all of a sudden. I'm hiding behind a gorgeous rock formations. These rocks are just amazing, and the color is really neat. It's gotten a little past fall prime color up at this elevation, but it's still really pretty with the rock and the kind of tawny grasses and sedges and other plants and lichens. So it's about 2:30 in the afternoon now. That was actually quite a long walk to get up here, but we will keep exploring this ridgeline and looking over into different areas, seeing where they might be hiding. Well, we climbed a mountain to go back down a mountain, and we're gonna have to climb back up the mountain to go back down the mountain. There were no Dall sheep up on the plateau, up on the ridge. I've always found them up there when I've been up here in the past years, past decades. But we checked one last kind of steep ridge, and oddly, a big bachelor herd is kind of all laying in the shadow on a side of a cliff down this gully that we're going down right now. And haven't taken a close look at the group and see how big the males are or how old they are or any of that kind of stuff. But we're going to walk down there. They're in the shade, so I don't know if we'll get any out in the sun or if we'll get any good light on them, but it'd be cool, definitely cool to see them. It's always so neat to see them. We've walked a lot of miles up here. So down the slope a ways here, and we've got 16 bachelors, and most of them are quite impressive. Really nice, beautiful, big horns on them, and not really getting too close to any of the animals, but I mean, they're all just so calm, and several of them were walking by me foraging on alders, and a bunch of these males are still over here just laying on the hillside chewing their cud. These particular Dall sheep have been photographed and seen people in their lives for decades and decades. It's one of the most accessible areas to get among Dall sheep that aren't hunted and afraid of people. But it's just astonishing, the landscape out in front of me right now, and these animals just going about their lives in a national park. There's one ram right in front of me who's just really beautiful, and he's in a really nice patch of willows that have turned yellow. Well, I haven't been shooting all that much. I've just been really enjoying sitting up here with these guys. The last one who was just kind of laying around chewing his cud has just got up, joined the group, and there's 16 of them right here. But they're just eating now. and probably moving back up to that sunny hillside behind me. I don't know if I'm going to make it back up there or not. But really amazing to be able to have this experience here in Denali and see these animals up close, and pretty incredible. Well, we're back to the road. We had a marathon, pretty brutal bushwhack down the mountain, which is something that frequently happens when you go up there. That was more of just a really nice experience than a hardcore day of photography. There's so much landscape work I would have liked to have done, and I'd like to stay up there until sunset and follow those sheep. But heading back home tomorrow, got to drive back up to Fairbanks. And I think I mentioned I just been on about 6 weeks up on the Colville River in the Arctic, working on a new film. So if you want to get notified about when some of those films come out, usually they come out through Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Sign up for my newsletter in the description of the video. So take care, and we'll see you next time.